Hi, everyone. It's 2 o'clock. We'll go ahead and start this workshop. Do you want to take it, page one?
You just explained the difference between the last one and this one.
The only thing that changed on the budget between last meeting and this meeting is PPAC did have a meeting since you guys met the last time. And what there's a $263,000 carry forward usage in the 002 fund. They have not voted on that yet. That came out of a discussion that they had at their last meeting. They wanted some time to think about it some more to see if they want to do it, if they want to do more, if they want to do less. How we got to the 263,000 was that they were aiming to have a 3% increase in the budget, and that was the magic number that got us to 3%. So that's the only line item that changed. It's on the 002 at the very bottom. It says use of carry forward 263. It may, and it's highlighted in yellow.
So can
hang on.
Page 14.
So can you?
So it's right here.
Page 4.
Page 16. So it's this number right here. So we may not use carry forward. They may use reserves, but that was just like a magic number. It doesn't really matter at this point. At this point, before we actually adopt the budget, where I plug it in the bottom, what it does is it subtracts it from the bottom line. So that was the important part, was to get that number plugged in there to get it subtracted, to get to the bottom line, to get it to a 3% increase. So they are going to discuss it again next week at their meeting. So this again came out of a discussion. They asked if I would put it on there. I told them that was how I would present it to you, that's not their recommendation at this point. It's still being discussed.
Okay, it's not the final.
That is
the latest recommendation, but not
this
final.
This is as of the July meeting, but they didn't want to make their final recommendation until they meet next week. So that is.
These calculations includes it.
Correct, but that is the only change in the budget compared to what you guys approved. Everything else is identical. That one line highlighted in yellow is the only thing that's different than what we've been looking at since it was approved in June. I do have some homework to do for them.
So can we go back to the very first page where it outlines what all the assessments are going to be?
The table?
Yes, the very first.
Silo one
Page
or the
one.
other one?
The first one.
Page one.
Right.
This one?
Yes. Right. So with that one change, that 200 and
That made this.
that brings what was 12 point some odd percent down to 2.8%.
Correct.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then whatever
And
this
I
was down
see
to
that-
4.5.
And I see that the Gateway single family is still at 13%.
Because that won't affect Gateway because that's only Pelican's budget.
Right. So I guess I'd like to ask my fellow Gateway people, are you guys comfortable with 13%, or do you feel we need to bring that figure down also? Or just, I don't know what your feeling is.
Well, talking about the $40,000 for the cameras, if we take that out, that's going to be a reduction.
Yeah, but it's not going to be down to 3% or something like that. I just didn't know what your
Looking at
feedback had
$2,
been from the last meeting till now, from other people in the community, as to if that's acceptable for them, a 13% increase or not, or what, or.
Historically, we have tried to manage in single digits. That has been the goal. And we've been able to do that for almost as long as I've been on the board.
With the first goal being what needs to really get done.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, I just want to make
yeah.
sure, because
So we deferred some.
because there were
Yeah,
previous
because we don't-
times
we
that
don't-
we're like, set this, we're going to set the percentage and then we see what we can do with
yeah.
it. That's not
But
what
what
we
I'm
do.
saying, to answer Carol's question, what our goal, or at least I think our philosophy of the board has been to try to manage in single digits. But I think the guiding principle is we need to do what needs to get done, but that's where the rubber hits the road, and that can be subjective in the eyes of the residents versus maybe the board in some of those areas. But I think if there was any opportunity for us to stay within that single digit, I think that's just more palatable.
Okay.
But if you're talking about 9% versus 10 or 11 or 12, or let's say 13.
Well, 13.
The significance of that is, might be nominal in the grand scheme of things. But I mean, we can have that discussion on, if we want to try to stay true to 9%, how much of that would need to be shaved off the budget in order for us to achieve it.
Okay. So do we want Laura to start looking at things and,
Well, I'd love to just get to see
Okay.
what everyone else is, I don't want to speak for
Yeah,
everyone on that.
this is where we go through it one more time.
right,
And decide what should be deferred or eliminated.
I don't think there's
Still the
any
same,
problem
it's
with
the dollar amount.
backing or trying to back into a goal of 9%, but we don't want to remove stuff that we feel is vital to the progression or whatever the needs are of the community.
Well, let's get it to numbers. Can you take, Laura, can you take, and if we say instead of go 9, 10, 10 is almost single digit.
Yes, I'm saying-
3%, what does it take for 13 to go to 10? 263,000 at Pelican took 13 to 3 to 2.8. So are we saying, and we have double the number of users basically, so are we saying that, this is pulling one out of the backside, $150,000 would reduce this from 13 to 10?
I would have to play with that, but I could calculate.
Yeah,
I
I'm
can
trying to
figure
figure
it
out what,
Ballpark.
what, if you went to 10, what is the dollar value? Because I looked at that thing that was blue in the face, and the regular operating, I just don't see it. The issue is paying for capital and what capital you're going to pay for. If
it would
you
be
want
nice
to
to
cut
know-
it, that's where you're going to have to cut, in my opinion, is capital. I didn't see anything to do in operating. It's just not there.
It's what we,
In fact, if anything, the operating scares me a little bit with coming in with a new park and a new building and the O&M cost. Thank God we got a year to breathe before that hits us straight on. But right now, what number, if we would take and reduce the percent change from 13 to 10, how much cash equivalent would we have to come up with? By just the same ratio of Pelican, my number would be about 150,000.
150 to 200, I think.
Yeah, 150, 200,000. And if that's the case, then can we find 150 to 200,000 of reserve cost to cut?
And this is still the high water mark. We haven't really cut it at all. This is where we came out as high water.
Well, we haven't gotten to that
Right,
point.
that's what I mean. So we've been here before, it's just, now we got to go and prune it a little.
And there's also a lever that we could pull, which is historically some carryover or some other potential available funds.
Just carry forward, yeah.
Yeah, so carry forward, if we carry forward that
So
into
like
the
taking
next.
retained earnings
Yeah.
Yeah.
and applying
So-
Yeah,
forward.
just earmark those and carry them forward to offset, like it did with the Pelican budget, so that would be.
How much, what is that
What is the
number?
carry forward?
I don't know,
Is Stephen online? I would think Stephen would
I
be
don't
able to
expect him to be
crunch
on, he'll
this,
be on at 3.
taking that to 10%,
forward?
would he be able to tell
That's a
us
good question to
real
ask
quick?
at 3 o'clock. So
No,
we
it's
can go
not.
through our due diligence, see, are there items that we can put on the potential, well, the order of operation is, what can we immediately scrub based on due diligence?
If anything.
2,
We
what are,
have some, we have some earmarked already here, these numbers, the 848. And then with the interest, the 715,000, so I can look and see, that's interest. I'd have to go and look and see like what we would possibly have to carry forward, in general, in the general fund, like what we would have from Public Works or pool or whatever, just the O&M stuff that we could earmark to pull
Well,
over.
all of our capital stuff is, as I recall, we said to go with debt retirement. So if we would talk about 100,
And the large capital projects, yes, but like a vehicle purchase, we did.
yeah, okay. But my point is if you have 150,000 in deferring of principal and interest, if that's the number, that's probably equal to 150 times 6, which would be
Right.
almost $1 million worth of capital itself.
yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at on
Do
on the
we
number.
know what the carry forward was from the 24 into 25? That's some number,
150, but
24 into
no,
25.
700, and it was really close to 769 or 715.
Yep, somewhere,
Okay,
it
so
was
it's
the 700 plus
roughly. Is
number.
there any reason to think that 25 into 26 will be less than that?
Well, no, especially
No.
looking at
And the reason why we are so long is because we defer some of the projects because they had to do with the park. So the majority of that 700 that it's carryover, it is items that we decided to delay. So if we didn't delay.
Okay,
it
we
would
just
be a
delayed the
shorter-
It was a
expense.
true carry forward aligned
yeah,
to,
the true carry forward would be a lot shorter if we didn't decide to delay because of the park.
So am I correct in thinking that the combined carry forward from 24 to 5, which is 600 and something, 25 into 26 is another 7. So we got about 1.3 million
We can
of
close the
true
door.
Can't close the door.
carry
It has to
forward.
be open. He'll have to go outside.
can crack it.
Where's
Yeah,
the,
yeah,
Is there somebody out
Because
there?
it just keeps growing, it doesn't go away.
yeah, okay.
Who is it?
I don't.
where's the calculations of the P and Is that we're looking at that would be cut or possibly cut by this? What page are we looking at? Where the principal and interest
that as a
payments
separate
for these
attachment in
various
there?
capital items are located
That was
to
like
see
the
what's
last
on the
page,
table
isn't it?
for
It might just,
eliminating.
it might write itself. This might solve itself by changing the funding source for those, correct? If we
We
go,
already pulled the capital projects.
so we've already done that. Okay.
That's not in
So
here
the
at
ones
all.
that are in here are what we expect to do.
Well, it depends on the conversation that you guys have about.
Today.
Yes.
Well, let's move forward with our workshop,
Somebody
knowing
should be
that,
able to
Some
tell us what that
questions.
number is, because, I mean, I'm just
We'll have a target.
guessing that number 150 to 200 is what it would take to get to 10%.
and again, the order of operation is we identify areas that we can pull immediately because we've deprioritized or reduced. 2, we set a tier 2 category of those that could potentially be cut. Maybe there's some additional conversations or things that we need in order to make that determination. But that's how we walk into this workshop.
And I want to be clear too, because Bob, I know you mentioned, this is high water, we're expected to cut right now. Well, you cut before high water. We deferred, we took out all of those large capital projects. So to say like, this is now the time we have to cut,
It's high water, but we've been lean through the process as best we can.
You started that before the high water mark.
Well, in years past, it was a wish list. Make sure you put whatever you think you might want in high water.
We didn't do that as much this year.
No, we
We kinda
had
started
some in
off with
there.
a-
But yeah, you guys did slide. I mean, we were up around 30% when we started before the high water and we got it down to
high,
where it's
high,
at.
That was the floodwaters.
Yeah,
Yeah. We were breaching the dam there, so yeah.
okay.
So are these items that we're looking at on the screen right now, are they the only ones that are in the budget right now?
None of these are.
None of them are in the budget. Okay, so that, what are they on here for?
So these are the projects that you said for us to defer. And so as part of this, we went back, and really this is part of a bigger conversation we really should be having. I know I've spent quite a bit of time talking to Rod over the past week or two. But the conversation here some projects may depend on other projects. So like, for instance, if we do a total major overhaul of the Sherman Soccer Complex, I would say, hey, we need to evaluate lighting. If you're saying, let's Band-Aid it and just do sod replacement, then I'd say, we can leave the lighting. We did, an enhancements a couple of years ago, but we can milk that. We can make that happen. Really, the Sherman Soccer Complex parking lot expansion, the moving of the dog park depends on if you do the parking lot. So that's where a broader conversation from the board. I've learned more about synthetic turf and natural turf than I ever cared to know in my life. So from a staffing recommendation, we'll stick with our original recommendation of keeping the natural grass. Now, if you want to entertain a smaller synthetic field of some sort, softball, baseball.
As a pilot?
As a pilot somewhere, we can contemplate that, but it is a whole project in and of itself between engineering, design, permitting because of the impervious acreage, like it's a lot. So from a maintenance of existing assets perspective, and talking with our maintenance vendor, we've gotten 30 years, almost 20, 25 years out of our natural grass and probably haven't maintained it like we do today every year. But the recommendation would be to go with the turf option number 2, which would be to bring in some clean, new, they call it 90-10 fill and the natural grass. But That's if you want to make that $1.7 million investment.
But you're talking about stuff that only adds to the cost.
Yeah.
Right.
We're talking about what is on the table right now in the way of capital that we would have to cut to create $3 differential.
We don't have a capital
Well, and,
sheet.
and let me just make this one recommendation while we're here. I think that any conversation around improvements to the soccer complex, whether it be lights or sods, I think that has to be deferred to fiscal year 26, 27, because it's going to take at least a year of due diligence and also not just what improvements we'd like to make, but also evaluating. I mean, if we want to do it right, we evaluate the leagues, we evaluate the structure, the man.
We gotta have a vendor that's participating.
Yeah, a vendor, or we look at outsourcing versus insourcing. Like this is, if you're going to do it right, then we need to start from scratch and turn over all the stones and look at how we can either improve the facility, reduce costs, offset costs, and maximize revenue, and also either maintain or improve the quality of service that we provide to the residents as the first priority.
On the capital sheet, and we can,
That would be my
And
recommendation,
one-
just for anything related to this area right over here.
One question to you, Ed, because you mentioned O&M cost increasing because of the new facility. And maybe I'm missing something, but the new facility capital, I understand the capital, but our staffing doesn't really change much.
Operate that new park, including security, cameras, all of that stuff is gonna cost a lot of money.
Well, I
I don't
understand.
think we've got it budgeted, but we got a year to get through that.
We got a year to get.
Well, that's
We
the
got a
next
year
year
to get-
project.
That's next year
Yeah, that's
issue.
26, 27.
Right now, what I'm saying is bringing up and following on what Doug is saying, is if we're at 13 and we have any indication or any liking to try to get to 10,
Okay.
what's that 3% going to cost? And I'm of the opinion that I think we're playing with fire if we mess with operation. We got to mess with capital. Something is in there in capital that's causing it. So the question is, what dollar value do we have to get rid of in principal and interest to achieve that 3% differential?
And I'll also say, really quick, Bob, what we're trying to do right now is we've got two things. One, we are looking at cost reduction to get us to a desirable 9-10%. And there's a dollar amount that equates to that. Two, if there are items that are not currently in the budget, the only way that I think we should be approving those is if we swap out, we do a like for like. I don't think we should be adding anything to this budget at this point.
we're not.
Well, I'm with you there.
We can't be adding anything to the budget, and
can't do that.
the only way to do that is if we pull something out and we can offset while staying in parallel with the other objective, which is trying to reduce down to 9-10%.
And keep in mind, your 13%, our debt for Lake Banks went up last year by about $50. So if you're trying to cut, I mean, we are running very lean. So debt went up about $50. That equals percentage. So, I mean,
Yeah.
we're going backwards now, but.
And that's not going to be going down, that's only going to be increasing, the more we do. So we got a number of locked-in expenses facing us. When we talk again about the O&M,
I'm just saying
if we're
is-
putting in security, if we're putting in fencing, the fencing particularly, that's a capital item. It's not an O&M item. The only thing in O&M, I think, is the people, right?
But
And
all those
electric.
things, Bob, are debt related. So you're dealing with a debt finance number. So if it's $1 million, it might work out to be 150,000. That's my point. What are the items for which we are going to be paying principal and interest for in capital in 2026 that
In
are
capital.
subject to, yes. that
Not
are
in
subject
O&M,
to-
but in capital.
Not in O&M, in capital.
Okay.
That are subject to eliminating $150,000 to $200,000. I don't know what there is there.
Yeah, because when I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking O&M is heads, people. And the number of people, whether we're in this building or in the new building, is not going to be changing significantly unless we add additional park people or something like that. So I'm thinking that the O&M should be kind of stable unless we change it.
I would hope, but when I'm looking at a building that's 9,000 square feet, We don't have anything to compare with that.
Well,
It's
but
gonna
we won't be,
tremendously increased. The issue is that, I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem is the park. The park operating cost is what scares me. But that, again, is a year down the
We
road.
have a year down the road to
I'm
work
worried
through
about
that.
right now is if, like Doug said, if there was an opportunity to cut the deal and reduce the budget from 13% increase to 10% increase. If
I'd
the
much
math
prefer
is right,
9.
where do we come up with $150,000 to $200,000?
So
That's the
if you want
question.
to run through the capital items, we can run through those real quick. And
Okay.
just, I had Laura click through, there is no projects on here. These are things, okay? So we have a drone, we have staff gauges, and we have a dump trailer.
Do we have, boy, I don't even want to go down this damn road. Don't we have a line item called capital reserve payment? How,
Capital reserve, yes.
capital reserve, we
reserves.
put so much money a year into, to pay for
Future
capital
capital-
reserve.
capital expenses, right?
That is another item that is, all that's doing is doing what I
Kicking the
hate
can.
the most.
Kicking the can. So what do we have in the capital reserve for this coming year?
Yeah, what is our capital reserve contributions for all of the silos that would be available? That's around $300,000.
48,000.
Well, we did, you recall, we did it by, we broke it out by silo.
I know, that's
And
what
then
I
I
said.
took the
it's by silos.
average for the next 5 years. So like for waterways, it's 48,000.
Well, that's nothing.
What I'm afraid of is to achieve it, you're going to basically take out all your capital reserve money is what you're going to do.
It was 62,000 for admin, so that's a little over 100, what are we at, 108?
So if we have them all together, we're going to be at 150 to
And
200,000.
then Public Works is 107, 112. So you're a little over 200,
So now go
215.
back to the other one. What is the current, the budget is what, 1345? Correct? 1345, next year's the assessment. Divided by 12 is what? $110?
Pretty close.
Talking about $110 a month. And of that, we're talking, if we took, I don't know what, 10%, if it went down to $1,000, that's $300, you're talking $30 a month
Well,
is what we're talking about saving the assessment on a monthly basis, about $30.
O&M is, for a single family home, is $1,033. You add the two debt service funds to that, that's what gets you.
Yeah, that's right, that's a good point. The
45.
debt services,
300 of it
you
is-
can't do anything with that.
Right.
Okay, so we're really dealing with the
Well,
1,033.
forget the capital reserves for the moment. My first question was there a carry forward? In other words, did we underspend with our budget in '24 going into '25? Or did we spend every nickel?
No.
No, we did not spend all
What
of
we
it.
were talking
So that's not capital reserve, that's a
It's
carry
retained
forward.
earnings.
They're different.
But some of that, what
It's deferred
Chelsea said,
projects.
is deferred projects.
Okay, so my question is, other than the deferred projects,
What is the number for?
what did we net out that we underspent or that we're having carry forward?
Or that we had increased revenue, like
Whatever,
returns for our bonds.
So if
and-
we know that, and then we look at the 25 going into 26, do we expect a similar savings? Or have things impacted us where that's not going to be there? Where we,
What Laura was saying is, when Stephen comes on at 3:00, we can ask him that
Okay.
question. He should have a good idea of what the,
because we don't have to
What- what
hit
do we
capital
look like?
reserves at all if we've got the money there.
right, exactly. So we'll know more about that at 3:00. I think we should stay within the budget
Yeah.
and continue
Okay,
going through that.
I'm with
And then we
that.
can have more conversation
I'm
when
okay
Stephen
with
gets
that.
on about the other possible source of carryover
Do we
funding.
want to talk about O&M right now? Because I do have some questions.
Steven's actually on.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do, so hold on, let me just see if I can get Stephen work. Stephen, did you hear Bob Geppert's request?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. This is Stephen. Yes, so we do have on the quarterly reports that we submit, we have the carry forward from the prior year on there. And then from there, it'd be a matter of how much are we going to use for our projects that we had talked about, and then the net would be those two numbers.
Okay, so we'll have to work on that, because I don't.
Okay, if, Stephen, just to be clear in my mind, if we came up with a number for 24 to 25, whatever that number is, minus what we chose not to spend money for.
Correct.
So
Absolutely.
then that's a carry forward number. And then again, in 25 to 26, do we expect a similar number or less? If we know that, it'll help us.
I think, just to be clear, what we're looking for is the number we anticipate carry over for 25, 26.
Yes.
Really, 24, 25 is
You're-
indifferent.
Well, except to know it,
You're
that's all.
just you're trying to have Stephen give us an approximation of what the retained earnings is going to be at the end of the year.
Completely separate from reserve.
Yeah, and what we're talking about then would be to allocate a portion of that money to a buy down.
In the same way
That's what
that
we're doing.
Laura
And
did
there's-
with the interest. She took interest that we had and applied it to the budgets this year, whereas in other years we didn't do that, but expected interest payments. And that came up to a number that reduced, in Pelican's case, 100,000. I don't know what it was over here. I don't remember.
And in that categorization, there should be three categories. One is any earnings, like we had last year with bonds or CDs or whatever. That's one classification. Two is deferred projects. So we need to know if there's carryover, but those projects were deferred
committed.
or earmarked, for in this budget. And then three is the net leftover that is not allocated or identified for any particular use.
And I'll work with Steven on that, because the stuff that I track includes the stuff that's earmarked, and the financials that you guys get it's all in the same system, so I'm not pulling it from anywhere else, but the financials you see don't include the encumbered expenses. What I produce for management does, and so he and I can work on that together
Perfect.
then.
Yeah. How soon can you have that? Next meeting.
Ooh, getting late.
Well, you'll see it by Thursday next week, so.
Be nice to know it before that meeting,
You're not kidding.
We'll work on crunching that.
because that meeting is the
Monday.
last.
Monday.
The last meeting, yeah.
We'll work
Yeah.
So
on,
you get it by Monday, maybe?
we'll try to get it out to you guys.
Monday, end of day, Tuesday at the latest.
Steve, can you tell us just ballpark, what is the projection with less than 90 days to go? What is the projection of our year-end retained earnings?
Well, again, he and I need to work together, because there's stuff that's encumbered that doesn't show in the financials, so
Oh, okay,
I don't
so
want
you
to
have
put him on the
pending
spot to give
items.
you guys a number. Let me
Okay.
work with him on that, and I'll
I
give
was
it to
trying
you.
to figure out,
Yeah.
is that number a realistic number that would solve the 150 to
Correct,
200,000?
but we don't know that until Laura does
Right.
her thing.
I think if you're looking to recoup about 150 to 200,000, I think we should be safe, but I don't quote me on that, just
Because this
based on
past
what
year,
I've
I
seen,
thought,
so.
I agree with you, I thought it was around 750.
Well,
And if we're anywhere close to that, what we're talking about is taking a third of it and committing it to buy down rates.
whatever that number is,
What
as
is-
a target, I would like 9%, not 10. The max increase.
That's
That's,
single digit. I mean,
yes.
I have some pretty big encumbrances
Okay.
on the books, so.
So
Okay.
can we go to operating? Okay. Does anybody want to start with anything? No? Okay. I have a list. And
Really?
yeah, you
wasn't-
didn't see
I
that.
didn't see that. Does anybody have any? Okay, let me go into mine.
It's gonna be a long one. I had questions regarding the FPL. I did notice utilities for electrical and some, we are budgeting lower than what we
Right, because what we had budgeted for this year for a lot of those utilities, when I went back and I looked at what we actually spent, it was significantly lower than what we had in the budget. So I tried to be more realistic, and I did plan I think I padded it by 10%.
Where we at? What
Not on
page?
everything, so
What
I'll
page
start
you
with
on?
the first one. So first question, I noticed insurance went from 38 to 66. Did we have any claims?
We have a new building.
No, auto insurance. It says, it's property, okay.
This is, whatever page we're talking about, is it on the screen?
Page 3.
Yeah, our HOA went up about 15%
Oh, this is double.
on insurance, yeah. And didn't have any
It's the new
claims.
building, okay.
Yeah,
So
I
it went
did,
from
I only
38 to
included it for
66.
half a year,
Okay.
but that's why that went up so much, because of the new admin building. If you tell me
Okay,
the
waterways.
fund, and then which,
She's going
are
to
you looking at
waterways.
general fund?
Yes,
Okay.
001.
Yeah, if you tell me the fund in the area, I'll find it.
So waterways, 001.
Page 7.
Utilities and
Page 7.
aerator. So actual, we are 23,000 and we're budgeting for 20,000. What is utility aerators? Is that electrical? Okay, so that doesn't make sense.
Where do you see that one line item?
Little page.
Yeah.
Oh, utilities
Aerator-
aerators.
Yeah, but If
So
you look,
aerator-
this 23,000 was actuals for fiscal '24. That's not this current year.
20,000 here.
This is the budget for this year is 10,000 and I bumped it up to 20 based on the actual usage.
And is that in anticipation of some additional aerators?
No,
That
we
we've been
actually,
talking-
It's gonna be a
That's separate.
decline, yeah.
yeah, I don't think the budget wasn't high enough for fiscal '25. I mean, we actually spent 23,000
Okay.
in '24 and we only budgeted 10 last year. So I pulled up all the actuals for these accounts when I went through and did this.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand, because we didn't remove any aerators. The electricity went up, FPL went up 10% last year, and then another 10% this year. And we went from 23.5 actuals of 2024 to an increase on 25, and then now a decrease on 26. Does that make sense? So you're by, so did we miss aerators that are suddenly not working, or they're out for repair and not working for
I think
months?
some of
at a
those
time?
stuff we split off. We were paying for things that we weren't supposed to be paying
Okay,
on the
so that-
meters.
all right.
And so we're actually only paying for what we should be paying for now.
Did,
So
did,
that's why. So it's a combination of things.
did
Okay.
FPL give us a notice of a rate increase?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
There might be another
We
one
got
coming
shocked
this
at the,
year.
Yeah,
at
the
at
meeting
the
was
HOA.
yesterday.
We saw about a 10% increase.
That's what I always plan for.
That-
Okay.
So.
That's what I thought.
And then, because that was a question, then we have aerators, repair and maintenance, we're adding $50,000. Did that came from another category on same page?
We're
last
actually
item.
reducing 50,000. I'm going from 100 to 50. Was it budgeted for 100,000 for this year? I'm taking it down to 50. Again, I went through and I combed, what did we actually, where are our actuals versus budget? And I made some adjustments based on that.
I guess you,
Those were new aerators,
Oh, it's repairs and maintenance, not,
just repairman?
yes. And we had a budget of $100,000 for this current year. We're even close.
I didn't think we had that many.
We aren't even close, so I dropped it to 50.
okay.
And I did work through this with staff, because they're the
Okay.
ones that are.
I guess
that-
because without me having to look at the latest financial to see what the actual
Yeah, the-
2025.
Because what you're looking at here
is
is the
2024.
the budget that was published, so that doesn't include the actuals. Yeah.
So then littoral restoration, $50,000, is that in line with, because if we spend 2,400 and 24, that's on page.
Page 8.
They did a big purchase of littorals recently to put in.
But is that part of the lake bank restoration? So it
No,
shouldn't
this
be.
is, it's out of that. These are for other lakes. The lake bank stuff is included. Any of the littorals that are part of the lake bank restoration
what
are
I thought.
included in the total for the lake bank
So
restoration. correct.
I'm trying to just refer to my reports that we receive on the monthly reports. I don't recall anything that stands out that we did for planting our littorals, like what caused it? Because we're in line with the development order and everything, so it must be a point repair that a specific area needed of that. That's the only thing that you would spend money on
We
it.
did quite a few point repairs this year.
That would require littorals.
I don't recall.
So that's what I want to know. Like, I want to know if I could, what is the actual for 2025 on littoral restoration? Because all the money, if it's the bank, should be with the bank project. I just don't recall anything on those reports saying that they had to go out there and plant littoral per the development order. So I want to make sure that we're not planting littoral where there is no requirement for it.
Well, do you know where we are budget year in littorals this year?
Yeah.
And we budgeted 50,000. Where are we in our spending?
I have to run a report. It'll take a little bit.
That's close enough.
Do you recall, Ed, anything in littorals that we had to go out and then plant it besides was
No.
the project itself? Yeah, I don't either. If anything, removals, but not plantings.
I don't recall it for here
Yeah.
either. I know we spent
I
a lot
just
in
think it's a
Pelican.
big, it's 50, it's
We
hard.
spent a lot in
And
Pelican.
end
I
of
knew that.
June, we spent,
I have
to
it
date,
right here.
we've spent 23.5. That's in, through
Okay,
23.5%.
percent of the
Oh,
So
50.
far this
Of the
year, we've
50,000?
spent
It's very little.
about 12,000. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we could do a reduction there.
Yeah, I agree.
I would say I would have cut it.
Take it to
I would've
25,
cut-
you're still
I would have
close.
cut that to 25,000.
Okay, we can do that.
I mean, does the board
Which,
agree?
which line item?
Littoral
Littoral.
restoration, we have 50,000, I would have cut that to 25.
Chelsea, Lori, you're keeping track so we get into the main meeting. We'll have the notes.
That's the only
after.
change that,
Okay,
yeah,
thanks.
okay.
Okay, the next item's stormwater pipe and
I
catch
have-
basin.
oh,
How much have we spent this year?
I wish next meeting can have the actual up-to-date date, because then otherwise I would have had to print it, which I did, kept looking back and forth.
You mean year to date?
Laura can
Year
look
to
at it.
date, I mean, I really
Year
don't
to
necessarily,
date
I don't
for-
care for FY 2024 as much as I would have cared for.
I didn't say 24, just 25. Where are
Yeah,
we
that's what I
year to
mean.
date?
24
We're at,
really-
no, we're at 30.
Never mind, that's good enough.
30 plus 1,500 and I have.
That's all I have on there. Then Parks and Recreation. Irrigation under the utility services, 19,000.
Repairs? You're talking the repairs?
It doesn't, no, I don't think it's repairs, so it just says,
R&M
utility,
irrigation.
yeah, it just says utility services irrigation, right underneath the trash removal.
20,000?
So, yeah, so it's budget is for 19,000. FY
We're
20,
at 17,200 right now, so.
so that's under
pretty
budget.
lean. No, I got 2 more months to go yet. So if I saved, if I budgeted 20, we should be right around there.
So you're saying that year to date,
19, I would have put it 21, that's what I'm trying to say.
No, we're at 17.
I know, but budget for 2026 instead of 19, if we're 17 and we have 2 billing cycles to go,
you see 19. 20.
okay,
Mine's 22, Ed.
this is what's in the website.
Yeah, this is done from the website.
Yeah, because Paul just printed to
What
me.
what you're saying is that you've got for irrigation, R&M, 20,000 budgeted, and we're incurred year to date 17? Oh, utility service
Yeah.
irrigation. What is that? I mean, that's general common area?
Parks and Rec. for
So,
Parks and
it's
Rec.
mostly the soccer field.
Okay, under Parks and Rec, okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Uh,
I would think that number would have to go up.
So in other words,
1,000.
if we've already spent 20,
That's what I'm saying, like you have 2 more billing cycles and and given that we're gonna have new plantings on this area,
so you're saying 19 needs to go higher,
I would
not
say at
lower.
least, yeah, what is, but if,
Well, if you prorate it, it would go up to about 22 or 23.
that's what I was thinking. I mean, if,
To get to 23.
I don't have anything there, then I have it on Public Works.
Streetlights went to 100,000 projected.
How about the one right above that?
One above that.
That's,
That is what it is. We didn't have anything to go by for what the cost is. What are we year to date on the fountain?
Are we under Public Works or someplace else?
Yeah, Public Works, about 7 items down.
electric fountain.
So far through the end of July, we are, well, through July 29th, we're at
What?
6,000, 6,100.
So you might have 1,000 in there. But the electricity for streetlights, how did that go from 50 to 100?
All of the new streetlights, which
It's, but we had the same, is the number of the lights is the same, isn't it?
But we weren't paying, we have the lease now, all those lease payments, that gets coded there.
This, well, my question is this electricity or is this paying for capital?
No, we don't pay for electricity.
That's the all-in lease.
We do not pay for electricity, it's all in one.
all
Yeah.
in one. It's not capital, because the capital price is,
So it's a cost per light?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So this,
It
this
really
is,
shouldn't
this is
be,
a
it shouldn't be
calcul,
named electricity, actually. That's.
It should be
It
leased.
should be just streetlights because.
but this is a
it's all
calculated number.
inclusive.
Somebody calculated this number? Okay.
So, all right, we'll change the name of it.
It should be,
It's just gonna change, you're not gonna track, you're not gonna have historical data if you move it to a different.
No, I'm not moving it, just changing it. What do we had? 190, 219 streetlights. I believe it was $18 each. I don't,
Say it again.
I believe we had 219 streetlights. I'm
We were
going
at
by
3,
memory.
I thought we were at 300 before, 300,
I know, he
310.
kept finding them. I think you found like 80 that we didn't know we
I
had.
know I found some.
So, and I
Okay.
believe the average was
I'm trying-
$18, 18
That's why I'm trying to
something.
find my calculator.
So-
But I'll go back,
That does
pull the
not,
contract.
It's 311 times 18.
So how many did you say? Three?
311
311, 311 times 18?
okay, you say
times
it's
12 is
higher?
67,000.
21, okay,
That's only 67,000 on a yearly basis. Yeah, same number.
yeah.
Let us go back. and
But
look at the
I'm going
contract.
by memory, it's around 18, but I could be off,
That
okay.
could be a big savings right there on that
Let
one.
us go
So
back and
just
look at the
look at that.
contract and get the total count before the next meeting.
I'm positive it's over 300.
Okay.
Okay.
And then under the swimming pool, same thing, electric.
Well, so the license plate readers will
I
talk
think-
at the next meeting.
Well, I figure we'll make that decision or, because we have some information to share with them and I don't think, I mean, I can, but I think it's best.
Yeah, before we leave that, the street sweeping services are outsourced, correct?
Yes.
Are we anywhere close to where it might be a cost savings for us to bring it in?
I haven't looked at it, but collectively, well, if Stony Brook's going away,
But they still have the requirement. Going out of the budget, but the
no, because
requirement
roads-
remains.
The roads would not be ours at that point. So,
But
let me- let me-
don't they have to do it for their own community though to comply?
Yeah, but we're not gonna police them.
No, no, no.
But yes, the answer
So we can
yes.
offer them that service to reduce our total cost, that's all.
Talking about buying the
Yeah,
equipment.
whatever it takes to do it, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
Tony.
A lot of times for the NPDES program, street sweeping is important to get the debris and litter out so it doesn't go into your stormwater
Yeah, but it
management
is
system.
required, so we know we have to do
Right,
it.
so it's required, so that might be a way to say, okay, it's part of our drainage system, we
Well-
still have drainage responsibilities.
But if Stony Brook pays 10,000 a year, O1 pays 50,000 a year, and Pelican pays 30,000, and we could do a whole thing for 50
By the South for
by
South.
combining it all, it might be an
I think
advantage
it's all
to us.
001 because Stony Brook would be in that.
Correct. Stony Brook is paying into the part of the.
They're into that,
So,
okay.
Yes.
my experience in my previous career, those things are very expensive and you can do a lease to own option. I'd have to go and see if the year lease would be worth us doing.
Okay,
Just the lease itself.
Well, the mechanics, they break down a lot also, Mike. Yeah.
So
I don't want to spend money, I'm trying to save.
I can,
What
I
is your
can
Ford
look.
Connections? Don't they have one of
I
those?
do street sweeper. I'll look at that before the next meeting.
Tesla make a,
Sweeping cost?
That's a-
Some saltwater.
There's a broom in the back. There's like 5 of us.
Try line up.
Right?
It's called public meetings.
So, under swimming pool, the same thing, electric. I just want to know where we are today.
14 ought to be, or the 12 ought to be at least 16 or 17.
$12,000, so
We're at
there's,
8,700 right now,
What's the 14 then?
What line have you looked
last
at?
year.
I'm looking at swimming pool.
but we've reduced it
electric.
by 2K.
But I don't
Or
understand
electric.
how we're reducing when FPL rates are going up and we're not having a reduction in usage, like, oh, we're not turning the pool this amount of hour. There's nothing on the reports from our directors that say like, we're doing something.
Didn't
that's
we
giving
put
a
in new
reduction.
equipment that was
Yes.
supposed to be more efficient
Yes.
and that
We might
Not
have-
in the
we
electrical,
might-
the
we might not
filter.
have Cooled or heated as much.
That's
this
gas though.
gas and
we're really talking about 2K. I mean, that's,
No,
No,
that's
I
its
think
own
it needs to
line,
be higher.
so.
Okay.
But the utilities so far for electric for the pool year to date through the end of July are only at 8,700.
Is how?
8,700.
July, top of the year, so,
No, we have like 2 months left.
okay.
So that's very reasonable, assuming all things remaining equal.
So you should be okay then.
We did invest in some new equipment, which is
It just
really
went up?
helped with the
Okay.
bill, yes.
And then public safety, the $25,000 for, that's the detail in additional to the 40 other cameras, right? Finally, do you know top of mind, what are we using the miscellaneous contingency? Other fees and charges.
Anything that comes up that you guys wish for us to do.
Charlie?
It doesn't fall under anything else.
I don't have pages. It's right before Pelican Preserve, the last page of 01, the last page of
It's,
001.
Page
We
11.
didn't do much damage to it,
No, it's just very little, like there's nothing there. I was just
That's what I
concerned
looked at before.
concerned with every single electrical, just because there's 2 races, and then I didn't, when I look at the financial, I felt like we needed to add a little bit more money for FPL. on pretty much every
I know
category.
ours went up big
Yeah.
time.
That's all I have.
Do you want to
Anybody?
remove the $40,000?
No, it's just a question. I just wanted to know, is it something that we need to create a line item for it? Is it something that could be better allocated in a different line item so we can budget properly? I was just generally asking. I don't have any. No? All right. Want to recess for 10 minutes?
Let's, can we just, Laura, recap her
Sure.
list real quick?
So
That
I-
way we're on the same page?
I have 3 items that I'm gonna work with Steven to get to you, hopefully end of day, Monday, no later than Tuesday. Those 3 items are, figuring out how to get the number down to 10%, how much 24 carry forward do we have left, and then how much are we expecting for this current fiscal 25? And then, do I recap the budget stuff now, or do you wanna wait till the meeting? Okay, so what the notes I took based on Flavia's list is, littoral restoration, take it to 25,000, Parks and Rec utilities, irrigation, take it to 23. Look at renaming the utilities, streetlights, license plate readers we'll talk about during the meeting, and then Chelsea's gonna look into lease to own for street sweeping.
One more thing.
Laura, I'd like the 9% number too, just so we know what it's 10%, what it would be 9.
What about the 10? Just go with the 9. Drone, didn't we buy the drone already?
No,
Or we're not? we
it's in the
didn't?
budget for next year.
Okay.
The old drone.
Not compliant with
Correct. We have to get a new one if we wanna use it.
Are we reselling it?
auction. Whenever we purchase it. Surplus and auction.
You have to declare it, it's under $5,000.
You still have to declare it surplus, but it just depends upon the process you use. Sorry.
We'll listen to you. All right, so that's it. Occasionally, yes. All right, so we'll go ahead and take a 10-minute recess into the next meeting.